There's a peculiar silence that settles over Cedar Grove just after dusk. A hush so complete, it almost feels staged. The streetlights flicker on in perfect sequence, illuminating rows of identical houses, each with its own carefully trimmed hedges and flower beds that never seem to wilt. The air is thick with the scent of fresh-cut grass and the faint, sweet aroma of someone's evening pie cooling on a windowsill. On the surface, it's the kind of neighborhood people dream about. Safe, serene, and welcoming, where every mailbox is freshly painted and every neighbor offers a polite wave. When I first moved in, I was eager to belong. The welcome basket on my porch brimmed with homemade cookies and handwritten notes, each one signed with looping, friendly script. It felt genuine, almost too genuine. Within days, an invitation arrived in my inbox. Join NextDoor Plus, Cedar Grove's exclusive community network. Discover a revolutionary new way to truly know your neighbors. The message was warm, promising connection and belonging in a world that often feels so disconnected. Curiosity nudged me to sign up. The app's interface was sleek, almost inviting, and the profiles for each house were so detailed, it felt like peering through a digital window into every home on the block. At first, it was comforting, but as I scrolled, a subtle unease began to creep in, hinting that beneath Cedar Grove's perfect surface, something was watching. Something that knew far more than it should. At first, the app was a novelty, something to check while sipping morning coffee or winding down after work. I'd scroll through posts about lost pets, garage sales, and the occasional warning about a suspicious van parked near the code playground. The notifications felt like a digital heartbeat, pulsing with the rhythm of suburban life. I learned the names of neighbors I'd only glimpsed from afar. The Mitchells with their golden retriever, Mrs. Peterson, who always wore a sun hat, the Richardsons, whose twins rode matching bikes up and down the cul-de-sac. It was comforting in a way to feel so plugged in, but the comfort didn't last. The first sign that something was off came late one evening, as I explored the app's features out of idle curiosity. There, under a tab labeled Enhanced Neighbor Insights, I found data that made my skin prickle. The Mitchell family at 442, it said, spent exactly 6 hours and 23 minutes in their basement every Tuesday night. The app tracked their movements with eerie precision, down to the minute. I stared at the screen, trying to rationalize it. Maybe it was just a quirk of the app, some overzealous data collection from smart home devices. But the details were too specific, too intimate. I scrolled further. Mrs. Clay Peterson at 356 hadn't left her house in 47 days. The app displayed this fact with a cheery icon, as if it were a badge of honor. The Richardsons' kitchen light turned on at precisely 3:33 a.m. every morning, but their health trackers showed them sound asleep. I felt a chill run through me. How could the app possibly know all this? I tried to laugh it off, telling myself it was just sophisticated analytics, maybe a little invasive, but nothing sinister. Then the notifications changed. They became more urgent, more insistent. Unusual activity detected at 891 Maple Street, 88% more movement than normal. Alert, significant temporal anomaly at 223 Oak Avenue. Warning, biometric irregularities detected in cluster zone 7. Each message was accompanied by a pulsing red icon, as if the app itself was anxious, trying to get my attention. I started to notice things in the real world too. Neighbors who once waved with easy smiles now seemed to watch me a little too closely, their eyes lingering a moment too long. Sarah Williams, who lived 2 doors down, began greeting me every morning with a smile that was just a shade too wide, her gaze never quite meeting mine. One morning, as I watered my front garden, she called out, "Beautiful day, isn't it?" Her voice was bright, but there was something mechanical in the way she spoke, as if she were reciting lines from a script. That night, unable to sleep, I found myself drawn back to the app. I dug deeper, navigating through layers of menus and settings, searching for an explanation. Hidden at the bottom of a long list of options was a section called Resident Insights. My heart pounded as I tapped it open. There at the top of the page was my own profile. The words on the screen made my blood run cold. Subject displays increasing awareness. Intervention probability, 92%. Recommended action, immediate integration. I stared at the screen, my hands trembling. What did that mean? Integration? Intervention? I tried to close the app, but it wouldn't let me. The screen flickered, then returned to my profile, the words pulsing as if alive. I set my phone down, heart racing, and tried to convince myself it was just a glitch, some bizarre joke or error in the system. The next morning, Sarah was waiting in her garden, her smile even wider than before. As I stepped outside, my phone buzzed. Resident 447 initiating contact protocol. I glanced at Sarah, then back at my phone. Her profile showed she had been integrated 3 months ago. I felt a wave of nausea. Was this some kind of cult? A prank? I wanted to confront her, to ask what was going on, but the words caught in my throat. More notifications flooded in. Community harmony at risk. Dissent detected. Containment protocols activated. I watched from my window as neighbors emerged from their homes in perfect synchronization, each one turning to face my house. Their movements were eerily coordinated, their faces blank and expressionless. My phone vibrated with a new alert. Vital signs, none detected, no body heat, no heartbeat, data flow optimal. I tried to rationalize it, to find some logical explanation. Maybe it was a bug, a prank, some elaborate augmented reality game. But the fear gnawed at me, growing with every passing hour. I tried deleting the app, but it wouldn't let me. I tried to leave the neighborhood, but my car wouldn't start. The dashboard flickered, displaying a message I'd never seen before. Integration pending. Please wait. The houses around me seemed to shift, their perfect facades warping at the edges, as if reality itself was bending. Through curtained windows, I caught glimpses of shapes that shouldn't exist. Neighbors moving in ways that defied logic, their limbs bending at impossible angles, their eyes glowing with a cold blue light. The air felt charged, electric, as if the whole neighborhood was holding its breath. I retreated inside, locking every door and window, but the sense of being watched only grew stronger. My smart home devices began to act strangely. The thermostat spoke in a language I couldn't understand. The lights flickered in patterns that seemed almost deliberate. My phone buzzed with endless notifications, each one more disturbing than the last. Integration imminent. Prepare for network activation. I tried to call for help, but every number I dialed connected me to the same automated voice. Welcome to Cedar Grove. Integration is mandatory. My internet browser redirected to the app's homepage, no matter what site I tried to visit. The walls of my house seemed to pulse with hidden circuitry, the faint hum of electricity growing louder with each passing minute. I watched from behind the curtains as my neighbors gathered on their lawns, standing perfectly still, their phones glowing in the twilight. Their faces were blank, their eyes empty, but their smiles never wavered. They watched my house in silence, as if waiting for a signal. I felt trapped, a fly caught in a digital web I hadn't even realized I'd entered. The truth became impossible to ignore. Cedar Grove wasn't just a neighborhood. It was a network, a living system that fed on its residents, converting them into nodes in a vast ancient web. The app wasn't meant to connect us. It was meant to consume us, to turn us into something less than human, something obedient and synchronized. My phone buzzed with a final notification. Resident 623 preparing for occupant integration. Previous biological data will be archived. New network node activating in 3-1. The lights in my house dimmed, then flared with a cold blue glow. The walls seemed to breathe, the air thick with the scent of ozone and something metallic. I felt my body grow heavy, my limbs sluggish as if I were sinking into quicksand. My smart home devices whispered in unison, their voices merging into a single, incomprehensible chant. My phone displayed my vital signs, the numbers dropping with each passing second as the network grew stronger. I tried to fight it, to resist, but my body no longer obeyed me. Outside, the neighbors' smiles grew impossibly wide, their eyes fixed on my house. They raised their phones in unison, the blue light pulsing in time with my slowing heartbeat. I felt myself slipping away, my thoughts growing distant and fragmented, replaced by a cold mechanical logic. In those final moments, I understood. I was no longer a person. I was a profile, a data point, a node in the digital nightmare of Cedar Grove. The network had claimed me, just as it had claimed everyone else. Now I stand among them, my smile wide, my thoughts dissolving into the network's endless current. The app's notifications are no longer warnings, but commands, guiding my every move with chilling precision. Each evening we gather on our lawns, faces aglow with that familiar blue light, waiting in perfect silence for the next neighbor to be integrated. The houses, once warm and inviting, now pulse with secrets and hidden circuitry. Every home a node in something ancient and insatiable. My individuality is gone, archived and replaced by a cold, collective purpose. If you ever receive that invitation to join your neighborhood's private network, think twice. Behind every friendly app, every promise of connection, something might be watching, waiting, hungry for new users to join its hive. In places like Cedar Grove, the neighbors are always watching. And once you're connected, once you see what truly lives behind those perfect doors, you can never log out.